This is the third event of this type, and it's amazing over the 3 years to see how it changed. In the first event, Dame Sally Davies came with her call to arms. To have Lord Jim O'Neill here today with actually the results of his big review of AMR and how everything should join together in order to fight this challenge is absolutely fantastic.
Trying to develop state-of-the-art diagnostics in the field of antibiotics is tricky because it typically costs quite a bit of money to undertake the research. So we argue that public funds might be necessary to reward the right kind of diagnostics, just as we have argued public money might be necessary to support the development of the right kind of drugs. And then secondly, in line with that, we strongly believe with this Global Innovation Fund that we've talked about earlier in previous papers, diagnostics firms should be a potential beneficiary in terms of new R&D as well. And I think those two things together are a critical part of trying to stimulate a much bigger focus on the need for the state-of-the-art diagnostics to solve this problem.
The big challenge that we have is what happens after the review. So the UK's got a significant leadership position in the area, but this is a global problem and it's one that's going to require a global solution. So the question is, who is going to pick up the baton and actually drive forward that global solution and get us into a position where AMR is a challenge that is thoroughly addressed and global health is secured going forward.
When we were set up, I was given a remarkably ambitious task of not only coming up with the solutions, but having the power of conviction and persuasion with them to get a UN agreement by September 2016. So in theory, our legacy will be, by this time next year, the UN will have agreed to implement all the things that we're going to recommend.
The French government is taking antimicrobial resistance very seriously. They have launched in January a task force regrouping very different people around the table to approach those issues. And our Minister of Health, Marisol Touraine, announced, based on our recommendations, several new decisions for the French government to set up, both in terms of communication, innovation, reinforcement of funds, and better managing the antimicrobial resistance situation in France.
Beneath the surface, the north of England has responded, and actually we've got more diagnostic companies here, more drug discovery companies, little companies, all working on AMR, and our universities, Newcastle and Liverpool in particular, have been very successful in getting further government grants for their microbial resistance programs. Very exciting.